with the best days to enjoy the outdoors, plus when we're expecting rain back in the forecast.
And we're talking about how much rain we saw last night and what we're expecting for the rest of the week, especially as we head into that chance for storms over the weekend.
That's right, Tania, and we weren't the only ones to see storms over the weekend. We take you to the places cleaning up after being impacted by severe weather.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
But first up, hey, it was stormy around here last night. We had the loud rumbles. These were some images of hail that were falling with some of those severe storms that moved across Marion, Winston counties last night. Brianna Dunn sharing this from the Twin area. Jerome Wishomatic Ewan also sharing some images. Listen, a lot of you were sharing pictures and video last night. We certainly appreciate all those storm reports out there, but it was really coming down in some of those locations. Some of that video that we had sent in to us last night. Very stormy, Tania, but those storms, as we expected, kind of weakened as that moved further south.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw some heavy rain in parts of the area. I know I heard rumbles of thunder and heavy rain in my home last night, but it was a fast moving system.
Yeah, actually went from, watching for severe storms to premium sleeping weather, right?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, let's talk about the next big thing, what's up for us. And we will have some drier days here on the way as we look beyond what's going to be happening here for today and tonight with that system moving out. I think tomorrow sunshine comes back, and next couple of days we're going to have some chilly mornings. And right now we're actually starting to see some clearing as we go to the Cameron Adair Tire here in Gardendale. You can see lots of sunshine out there. It's amazing to me. I was just telling Tania, it's incredible just how quickly 1 minute everything's still, there's not a leaf on the tree, and then all of a sudden everything's green, right? But everything's starting to really green up quickly as the trees continue to wake up across the area. AccuTrack right now in the 60s, but no rain showing up. There were some showers down in the South Alabama. That's all moved out. With all the rain we had last night, I still think we could see some fog later on tonight, so we'll need to watch out for that. Dry days, lots of pollen coming back, and we have a severe threat on Sunday. Another system that we are watching. The Storm Prediction Center has most of the state outlooked and a probability of severe weather for Sunday. Right now I'm thinking the greatest risk is going to be in areas to the northwest. Actually, it looks a lot like that setup that we had last night. So we'll be watching those areas back to the north and west. In the meantime, you can see tonight's lows down into the 40s, so no worries about frost or freezing temperatures early in the day, but you will need the long sleeves early on. Rest of the day tomorrow, big warm up into the upper 70s, close to 80 with a mostly sunny sky. Looking at the rain coverage, most of what you see over the next 6 days, well, that's going to be with systems coming up over the weekend. Notice again, we have dry weather through Friday. Saturday, a chance for some showers as the atmosphere sort of gets primed in for that next system. And again, it looks like a cold front moves in Sunday night and into Monday of next week. And some of those storms could be severe, so we're going to have to monitor there for that risk, especially to the north and west. Still plenty of time to watch it. The main thing at this point is I'm just making sure you have the first alert. And I was about to show you the allergy forecast here as we go over to the pollen forecast. You can see the way these are local counts, and grass pollen's up. The wheat pollen also, that count, the ragweed level jumped up. The tree pollen, of course, still in the high category. Last night, the rain really helped us out. It helped to wash away some of that tree pollen, but it's going to come back in a hurry. And in addition, we have some very windy conditions that's going to also dry things out rather quickly over the next couple of days. So you're probably going to be looking for another car wash day as we move ahead. But just how much rain did we see last night? Meteorologist Megan Thomas joins us now with a look at the overall rainfall totals and how much wet weather we could see by the end of the week.
As we kick off a new week, we saw a lot of rain overnight, and it made for a very messy commute to get into work and school this morning, and we picked up a good amount of rain. It was a very steady rain for some, and this is just radar estimated. Rainfall totals over central and north Alabama, 3.5 inches in Marion County over through Winston. We saw a good 1.5 inches in northern Lamar and northern Fayette. We picked up a good, I'd say, 3/4 of an inch in Jefferson counties, and then lower totals back over through Clay, Randolph, Chambers, Tallapoosa, Coosa, all around. I'd say about 1/10 of an inch up to 3/10 of an inch of rain, and rain is needed around here. In fact, we are below average for where we should be for this time of year for March rain totals. We're almost at 3 inches in Birmingham. Should be somewhere wrapping up the month around 5.66 inches of rain. Tuscaloosa has now seen about 3.37 inches of rain for the month of March. And Anniston, you're knocking on 5 inches, which is not too far off from where you should be for the rest of the month. And as we head into the next 7 days, we've got another round of potential rain in here for the weekend. Saturday looks more along the lines of just more scattered showers. And then, like we've been talking about, there is this already defined risk from the Storm Prediction Center late Sunday into Monday for the possibility of storms, which could give us another round of good rain, about 1/2 inch to maybe a little over an inch for the next 7 days.
Well, thanks, Megan. We're going to take you across America, really, the southern portion of the U.S. specifically, who also saw severe weather over the weekend. Parts of Mississippi cleaning up today after the touchdown of a reported tornado. Check out this video. This is a tornado lifting above the ground in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. The National Weather Service confirming the vortex formed under a wall cloud yesterday evening shortly after 7:30 p.m. The tornado happening just a day before the 2-year anniversary of the EF4 tornado that touched down in Rolling Fork, causing 21 fatalities. And in Texas, you can see a yard and home being impacted by, get this, hail. This is in Kerrville, Texas, just yesterday, and it is a lot. The hail ranged in sizes from quarter to golf ball size and caused multiple vehicles to be damaged at a local church. Oh, that's the one thing about hail that I hate. It messes up your cars and your homes. Well, wildfires, though, continue to rage in the Carolinas. More than 6,000 acres have already been burned, causing risk of further damage in areas still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene. A dangerous combination of high temperatures, stronger winds, and low humidity have helped the flames spread. And reporter Michael Yoshida has a closer look at the effort to contain these flames.
Crews battling flames across the Carolinas. Wildfires burning thousands of acres and destroying some homes too.
It was chaos. We was up here trying to put the fire out. We couldn't get it out, so the fire department come. The wind picked up, and after that happened, it was all she wrote.
Thousands ordered to evacuate. These residents scrambling to protect their RVs and equipment.
If it does reach this far, our equipment won't get burned up. Literally, it's just kind of keep everything kind of away from the brush line as best we can.
In South Carolina, the governor declared a state of emergency. The National Guard deploying, dropping water over burned areas as massive plumes of smoke rise from the hills. In both the Carolinas, firefighters must deal with the large number of leaves, trees, and other debris left behind by Hurricane Helene.
I feel bad for all the people that live here with the Helene and this back to back.
Hundreds of personnel, including some from other parts of the country, are working to contain the wildfires. This weekend's weather adding to the challenge.
High elevated winds, higher temperatures, lower relative humidity. So we are seeing all those conditions that's contributing to higher and more intense fire spread.
We're sad that it happens, but we're all glad to be able to just join in together and work as one team.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Well, coming up in 30 seconds, we're going to talk about the beautiful conditions for the rest of your week, but we're also going to take you above the atmosphere to a disappearing act that happens once every decade. We'll be right back. That's right.
Okay, and welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra, a live look from Gulf Shores at the Hangout. I know a lot of folks may be traveling down for spring break this week. Certainly is going to feel like spring out there. Temperatures right now in the 60s. There's been a lot of clouds around. The 7-day beach forecast shows a little bit of fog and haze during the mornings. Temperatures, though, will warm into the 70s. There will be some afternoon sunshine. And notice Saturday into Sunday this weekend. Also, a few showers come back Saturday. It's not a total washout. Actually, it looks like late Sunday night before rainfall makes it there into far south Alabama and also down along the Florida Gulf Coast. But if you are traveling, make sure you have the First Alert Weather app. That way you get those updates and alerts based on where you are located. But a system we're watching for the weekend. Until then, lots of dry weather and also some warmer temperatures. Tania, how are we looking out there?
It looks great. And matter of fact, Tuesday looks a little breezy, but we're not talking about crazy wind gusts where your hair is going to be flying all over the place. We're talking about the perfect breeze for you to fly that kite. Wind gusts possibly up to about 20 miles per hour for your Tuesday. The ideal kite flying forecast, especially during those daylight hours. I say get out there late morning when the sun is out, temperatures start to rise. We're seeing temps in the 70s tomorrow afternoon, and we're looking at ideal conditions. I mean, notice that sustained winds are going to be above 10 miles per hour, and you want winds to be between 10 and 25 for those perfect kite flying conditions. Now, as we approach sunset, winds begin to settle, so you might want to do it, like I mentioned, in those peak hours of the day, somewhere between 11 a.m. and about 4 or 5 p.m. for your Tuesday evening. It's a perfect activity for your kiddos for the spring break week, too. So I'm just telling you, get them outside and let them enjoy the sunshine. Well, we're not the only ones that'll be seeing warm conditions this week. Those warm temperatures are also breaking records across the western half of the country. As a heat wave prepares to roll in some areas, they could see between 80 to even 100-degree temperatures this week. Absolutely not. Listen, too early for that. Phoenix expected to reach triple digits as early as tomorrow, which could possibly set that new record. The National Weather Service warning about heat-related illnesses already, especially for those working outside as they unseasonably endure these warmer conditions, and it could be risky for those sensitive to the heat. Be careful out there if you're in Phoenix or if you have family out there. Well, now beyond the atmosphere, taking you beyond the atmosphere to a celestial event that hasn't happened since 2009. Saturn's rings will be giving the illusion that they're disappearing, and for a few months will only appear as a very thin line. It's called ring plane crossing, and it happens every 14 and a half years. The rings will be tilted at an angle where we see the edge of the rings from the Earth, and since we're so far from Saturn and the rings are only 30 feet thick, the rings will have that vanishing effect. Pretty cool. What?
Well, behind the scenes when it comes to forecasting the weather, there's a lot of science that we meteorologists Well, behind the scenes when it comes to forecasting the weather, there's a lot of science that we meteorologists look at that you at home Well, behind the scenes when it comes to forecasting the weather, there's a lot of science that we meteorologists look at that you at
All right, lovely sunset view out there this evening. Sunset time tomorrow jumps up to 7:04, so we're now seeing those 7 o'clock sunsets, and nice to see a little daylight at this hour, right? And a lovely view from Jasper. Sky really clearing out today. Nice improvement from early on. We had those clouds that stuck around through lunchtime, but some nice improvements, and the sky clear tonight with all the rain we had last night. I'm concerned there could be some patchy fog out there early tomorrow morning, but temperatures, notice in the morning out the door, it's going to feel cold heading out the door early in the day, but for the afternoon, big warm up into the upper 70s later on. So plenty of sunshine tomorrow, warmer conditions. As Tania talked about, though, it is going to be windy tomorrow later in the day. So probably if you're maybe doing a little yard work, treat the lawn out there tomorrow, you may want to hold off on that with those winds picking up out of the west-southwest at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Next big thing I'm seeing will arrive this weekend. It looks like starting Saturday, out of all days, yeah, we have dry weather through Friday, some nice, comfortable, warm afternoons, but Saturday we start to see some scattered showers as moisture lifts back in here. This is the atmosphere sort of getting primed in for the next big system, which happens Sunday night. It's another line of rain and storms along a front that moves in, and a setup very similar to the setup that we saw last night. I'm most concerned about areas back to the north and west for that risk of some large hail, gusty winds. Even can't rule out a tornado risk back in these areas. So that's what we're seeing right now based on the latest guidance, but we'll continue to fine-tune that outlook. Again, it's just Monday. A lot could change here, but making sure you have the first alert. We'll watch this over the weekend. Late Sunday night, next big chance for heavier rainfall. Saturday, I think the showers are just mostly scattered, so not a total weekend washout. We'll have to keep an eye there on Sunday, however, as that system moves in. It's that time of the year. As you can see on the 10-day forecast, we have dry weather through Friday. Nice warm afternoons, but that chill is in the air during the early mornings. We don't want it to warm up too quickly, right? So you can see there upper 70s, close to 80. Saturday and Sunday this weekend, scattered showers Saturday. Sunday, the chances there again for Sunday night and Monday, another line of strong to severe storms possibly impacting parts of the area. And then after that, as we say goodbye March, hello April, into next week, it looks like we will have some dry weather with temperatures topping out in the 70s. As we prepare to see active weather for the weekend, quite possibly, meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with an in-depth explanation on an integral part to the forecasting process, the weather balloon, and how it assists not just us, but meteorologists across the country when it comes to keeping you safe.
Well, behind the scenes when it comes to forecasting the weather, there's a lot of science that we meteorologists look at that you at home don't have to. We try to simplify your lives and let you know if you just need a jacket or if there's severe weather that could be impacting you. What you're seeing behind you are weather service offices. You see those blue stars? That's where we have those locations, and they launch those upper air balloons twice a day. Well, as you may have heard, there's been cuts to NOAA, so some areas are no longer going to be issuing those weather balloons, and we've got a little bit of missing data. So you can see right there around Nebraska, South Dakota, there's some missing information. So when you lack information, sometimes you don't get accurate information when it comes to forecasting the weather. So here's some of those NOAA suspensions. This was actually an article released through the NOAA website saying the suspension of those observations in Omaha, Nebraska and in Rapid City. This was late last week on Thursday, March 20th. And they note due to the lack of weather forecast office staffing. So with some of those cuts, that's causing some impacts on how they operate when it comes to that daily operation at the National Weather Service. So why is this even important? So just to give you an idea how the science works, you may have heard about weather balloons. The National Weather Service at every office, they will launch these things at the same time every day. They do it twice a day. There's the actual balloon right there. This is a parachute because, of course, what goes up must go down. And of course, it is connected to a sensor that gives us a lot of real-time information. So these are launched twice a day. 92 offices launch them. And in some instances, when we have severe weather or maybe there's a big hurricane impacting the East Coast, they'll launch special launches maybe 2, 3, 4 times a day just to get more sampling of the atmosphere so we know what exactly is happening. So there's your radio sonde right here. It's a harmless weather instrument. So you could see this on the ground once it falls down to the surface. Doesn't cause any major issues, but it observes temperature, pressure, relative humidity, has a GPS tracker, and it also can indicate wind profiles as well. And this is important because we use this data into our weather models, and it gives us a better chance of getting a more accurate forecast for you. And we can use this for severe weather. This is important for flights and aviation meteorology and for fire forecasts as well. So once that sounding's launched into the air, you get this kind of mess right here. Lots of busyness, but for us meteorologists, we look at this, translate this to figure out how the weather's behaving. So when we had severe weather a few weeks ago, the Birmingham National Weather Service, they launched a special sounding to see how unstable the atmosphere is to sort of get a better handle on how severe it's going to be. So that's important data for us, and it's also important because when you get good data in, you can get some good modeling. But if you get bad information coming in, that modeling won't be as accurate, and that could impact forecasts. And remember, all meteorologists across the country, whether it's here on TV, the Weather Service, private meteorologists, they all use this data from the National Weather Service and NOAA. So just right now, these are suspended. Hopefully, they'll get their staff filled in and it won't be an issue. But we got Albany, New York, Gray, Maine, Omaha, got parts of South Dakota, Alaska, no longer having those weather balloon launches. And then some, because of staff concerns, only have one launch daily. That includes South Dakota, parts of Colorado, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nebraska, and in Wyoming. We'll keep a close eye on this, of course. Just wanted to give you an idea of how all this impacts us and it impacts you.
All right, and ground truth information so important. But you know, one thing that we have now, Tania, is we have satellites. We have forecast sounding. So that's another side of the data too that can help out with the forecast. Of course, we're watching in the long range into next week. We do have the possibility of, we know the temperatures will be above freezing, but I always say April and into May we refer to as blackberry winter. You can still have frost. So tell us about the long range forecast. I know we're all eager to plant right now, but we still need to be careful, right?
We sure do, Wes. Hey, I will tell you one good thing. Looking at the data further ahead of us, I'm not seeing any more hard freezes. Now, that doesn't mean we can't have frost, but I'm not seeing many 20s in the forecast anymore. And matter of fact, it looks like much of the southeast is going to be dealing with above average temperatures April 1st through April 7th. So we're looking pretty good. But again, you still want to be careful. I wouldn't just go all out planting your garden just yet. Maybe start with some of your less sensitive plants that you can easily cover in case we do have some really cold mornings. And notice this week, still some chilly mornings out there. Maybe not near freezing, quite freezing, but we're still in the 40s where you're still going to need that light sweater and that jacket. And you still want to be careful in case we do get some mornings that we could see some frost. We still have some cold fronts sweeping in here and now and then again. But as we look at our precipitation outlook, above average rainfall for much of the northern half of the U.S. And then we look down at the lower portion of the U.S. and we're seeing more below average temperatures. That includes the coast, below average precipitation, excuse me. That includes the coast down to Gulfport, Mobile. So, hey, maybe not as much rain heading into the first week of April. I'm not mad at that. That's pretty good. For those of you with more spring break plans, not too shabby. And as I break down our rain chances beyond the 7-day, I'm not seeing any wet weather, maybe a few passing showers. I'd say closer to about April the 5th, and it looks like it's very minimal rain chances, and it's not sticking around for very long. And then we're looking dry through the 7th, so not too bad for that beyond the 7-day forecast. We do have those storms this weekend, so be sure to continue to check in for updates on that. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a final check of your weather. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We're back after the break.
Well, today we have some dry weather over the next several days.
I know.
It was nice. The pollen backed off a little bit because of the rain last night, but you know it's going to be back.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's already back west.
Yeah.
I literally stepped outside and my car is covered in pollen right now.
I can tell too. I was out doing some yard work, and man, I mean, it gets me every time.
Me too.
But watching the weekend, chance for some rain showers and storms. We know you'll have the new data to pass along tonight. First at 9.
Absolutely. We sure will. Stay with us, guys. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you back here tonight. Your elementary teacher or some teacher?
Yeah, elementary school.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, let's do this. In 3, 2. Hey there, everyone. First Alert meteorologist Tania Michelle here. Here's a look at that 10-day forecast. Looking good over the next several days. Beautiful afternoons, still some cooler mornings. So I would highly suggest having a sweater or jacket, heading to work early in the day when the sun is coming up. But once it's out, hey, you will not need that sweater or that jacket. We're talking about 70s and maybe even low 80s Friday. We will see rain and storm chances returning for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, giving you that first alert. Want to make sure you're checking in for updates throughout the week. You have plenty of time to check in for updates. If you have weekend plans, make sure you are checking in for updates, okay? There could be the chance for a severe storm around Sunday into Monday as we anticipate the next cold front. But Saturday for right now looks more like some rain. As we bring in next week, though, beginning April, doesn't look too shabby. We're still tracking some warm afternoons in the 70s. And after Monday's rain next week, we'll have more dry days ahead of us. So stay with us. Catch updates on the WBRC First Alert weather app.